guys, today we're going to be doing a lesson on long division with whole numbers. So I want you to open up your new packet, Rational Numbers Part 1, and we're going to go to page 2 to start our notes. There are 3 vocabulary words today: dividend, divisor, and quotient. The first word, dividend, is the number that is being divided. Let's fill in divided. The number that is being divided in a fraction we see in the top of the fraction. So it's the top number in a fraction. The divisor is the number that you are dividing by. So the divisor is the number you are dividing by, and that's the bottom number in a fraction. And then our last word, the quotient, we've talked about that word earlier this year. That's the answer word for division. The answer to a division problem is called a quotient. This next section we're going to label those parts. So the dividend, the number that would be the top number in a fraction, that's our 63. The divisor, the bottom number, that's 9. And then the answer, our quotient, is the 7. So the dividend divided by the divisor gives us a quotient. I want you to enlarge this circle. We're going to fill in some tips for ourselves for dividing. And they're going to follow this pattern. D, M, S, check, and B. So D, M, S, check, B. So when we're dividing, and you might have different ways of remembering this, but one way is does McDonald's sell, sorry about the tapping, I don't know how to fix that, cheeseburgers. So in this hint, D stands for divide, M multiply, S subtract, the C is the check step, and the B is bring down. So these are steps for long division. Some people remember it daddy, mother, sister, brother, and you just have to remember that check step in there. So these are the steps we're going to use now to do our long division. I'll give you a few seconds to do that, and then we're going to do our first example. All right, so here in this box we have 483. We have our dividend. We don't have our divisor. I'd like you to write a 5 in the divisor spot. So we have 483 divided by 5. And to do long division, we want to bring our dividend into the inside. So some teachers will say put the top dog in the doghouse. Other dog is outside our 5. So we're going to do 483 divided by 5. So our first step is to see how many 5s will go into a 4. Well, how many 5s can I get in 4? None. So that's my divide step. If I want to show all those steps, I would say, well, 0 5s went into 4. 0 times 5 is my multiply step. Now I subtract. 4 minus 0 is 4. Check, make sure that you can't get any 5s in 4. I can't. And bring down. So my next step is how many 5s will go into 48. So I can get 9 5s in 48. 9 times 5 is 45. That's my multiply step. 5 times 9 is 45. Now I want to subtract. 48 minus 5 is 3. I'm going to check, make sure that I can't get another 5 in. I can't get another 5 into the 3. So now I bring down. So I'm bringing down just the next digit in my dividend. I can get 6 5s in 33. So I'm going to put a 6 in my dividend. I'm going to multiply the 6 times 5, and I get 30. Subtract. 33 minus 30 is 3. Check. I can't get another 5 into the 3. And there's not another number to bring down. So at this point in elementary school, you might have said R3. But we're not going to do that in middle school, so I'm going to erase that R3. What we're going to do instead is write that remainder as a fraction. So I have a remainder of 3, and I'm dividing by 5. So we know that that bottom number of the fraction, the 5, is going to stay on the bottom number of the fraction. My remainder number is what's left of my dividend. So my answer is 96 and 3/5 is what 483 divided by 5 is. Or it's a way of taking 483/5 and writing it as a mixed number. Okay, we're going to try our next one. We're going to do 1,686, and this time our divisor is 82. All right, so let's set it up. And our top dog is 1,686, so we'll put that in the doghouse, and we're dividing by 82. So I notice that I can't get any 82s in the 1, and even when I move over to 16, I can't get any 82s into 16. So these are both going to be zeros, and 0 times 82 is 0. So I'm subtracting 0, or 16 minus 0 is still 16. My check step, I can't get 82 into 16, so I'm going to bring down the 8 from my dividend. How many 82s go into 168? So some of you might know off the top of your head. If you're stuck a little, round that 82 to 80, and that can help you estimate. Well, if I think of 80, I know 2 80s would be 160, so I'm going to use a 2 here. If you don't know off the top of your head what 2 82s is, you can multiply it off to the side. And that's the number I want to subtract. 168 minus 164 is 4. And I can't get an 82 into 4, so I'm going to bring down the next number to the 6. I can't get any 82s into 46. Before I know my remainder then is going to be 46, but before I set that up, I need to make sure that every time I brought a number down into my work, I need a number in my quotient. So when I brought that 6 down, I saw that I cannot get an 82 into 46. That means I can get 0 82s into 46. 0 times 82 is 0. And when I subtract, I get 46. Now I can write my remainder part of my quotient. So 46 is what's left of my dividend. My divisor goes on the bottom, 82, and I have 20 and 46 82nds. If I want to simplify that, maybe you notice those are both even numbers. It would be 20 and half of 46 is 23, half of 82 is 41, and now I can't simplify that further. If I check that, I can do a rough check. 20 times 80 would be 1,600, so that's pretty close. If I want a more exact check, 20 times 82 would be 1,640. So it's 164 with a 0. And then if I add 46 to that, I'm back to my 1,686. All right, let's go on. All right, let's go to page 3. We're going to do a few more examples, and then you can have some work time. So we have 212, and we're dividing by 7. So fill in a 7 there, please. All right, top dog goes in the doghouse, 212, and we're dividing by 7. So we're going to start with 7 into 2. Well, 7 goes into 2 0 times. 0 sevens is 0. Subtract, I get 2. 7 cannot go into 2, so I'm ready to bring down. 7 goes into 21 3 times. 3 times 7 is 21. I subtract, I get 0. Again, I can't get any 7s into 0, so I'm going to bring down the 2. So 7 goes into 2. Well, that's like that last problem. 7 doesn't go into 2 at all, so I need to make sure to put a 0 in my dividend. Or, I'm sorry, in my quotient. So 0 times 7 is 0. I subtract, I get 2. There's not another number to bring down, so my remainder is 2. And I'm going to write it as a fraction. 2 is what's left of my dividend. 7 is my divisor. I'm going to bring that final answer over here, 30 and 2 sevenths. I'm going to see if that makes sense. 30, if I multiply 30 times 7, I get 210. That's pretty close to 212. So my answer is making sense. So finish that one up. We'll do the next one, 271 divided by 3. So you should have filled in a 3 in the divisor spot for this problem. And we're going to make the doghouse, top dog in the doghouse, and the 3, our divisor on the outside. All right. 3 goes into 2 0 times. I'm going to subtract and get a 2. 3 does not go into 2, so I'm good there. I'm going to bring down the next number, which is a 7. And 3 goes into 27 9 times. 9 times 3 is 27. So when I subtract 27 minus 27, I get 0. My check step, does 3 fit into 0? Nope. And bring down. So my last number to bring down is a 1. 3 goes into 1 0 times. 0 times 3 is 0. I subtract and get 1. There's not another number to bring down. I want to double check. I can't get any 3s in 1. I'm going to write that remainder of 1 as a fraction. So 1 is what's left in my dividend, and my divisor is 3. Write my answer over here. I have 90 and 1/3. When I check that by doing 90 times just the whole number part times my divisor, 90 times 3 would be 270. Pretty close to 271. You can see we can add our numerator and get right to that 271. All right, next example. 483 divided by 6. So I'd like you to pause the video and try the problem and then check your work and fix up any mistakes before you go on to the next one. All right, so hopefully you got 80 and 3/6 or 80 and 1/2. When you're doing your check step, if you have simplified your fraction, you can't just add that numerator and get back to your original dividend. So keep that in mind if you do simplify. Maybe check it before you simplify. So 80 times 6 is 480, plus 3 gets me to 483, so I'm good there. All right, we're going to do the same thing with the next problem. I'm going to show you the problem. We'll set it up. It's 1094 divided by 54. So we're going to set that up, and then I want you to pause the video and check your work on that one to see if you're on the right track. All right, and there's that last answer is 20 and 14/54, or if you simplified, 20 and 7/27. So checking this one's a little trickier. So 20 times 54, well, 2 54s is 108. So 20 54s would be 1080. And then when I add 14 to that, I get 1094. So I'm back to that original. If you want a more general estimation to check your answer, you could do 20 times, and our 54 would round to 50. So 20 times 50 is 1,000, and that tells me that I'm in the ballpark. So hopefully you're feeling good about your long division. Your homework today is on the next. All right, so page 4 and 5 are your practice for today. There are 12 long division problems. I want you to show your work as we've been showing in our lesson. Take your time, do careful work. Make sure you're writing your remainder as a fraction. And I will see you tomorrow.